how do entrepreneurs make money? Well, welcome back. So in today's episode, I'm going to talk about how do entrepreneurs make money. There's not enough time to cover the subject, but I'm going to dig into it pretty thoroughly here. So business is moving along pretty fast. If you have a head full of ideas that you want to put to work, well, welcome to the club. You have ideas, I have ideas, everybody does. The marketplace is full of ideas. Actually, the marketplace is flooded with ideas. Now, if you can come up with an idea that solves someone's problem, well, that's the one you want because people will pay for that, and now you'll be getting paid for your ideas. So business ideas are encountered every day. Now, most entrepreneurs are included. They're mixers. They mix with a lot of people, so they're getting new ideas from those people, and they get a chance to talk about it and communicate. Well, maybe you join the Rotary Club, maybe you join the Lions Club, maybe you join a local business club. The idea is many business forums for you to get even more ideas. So there's no reason not to have ideas for business. Now, how do you make money? Well, you make money by taking an old idea that's already working and innovate and bring some new ideas to the table. In other words, each generation that comes along, we're trying to push out the old ideas and bring in the new ideas. All right, your new ideas need to be something that's going to help the public. Those clients will pay for new ideas, and they will pay if you can solve problems. So there's tons of experts out there. The experts need to solve problems. You can be one of those experts very easily if you can solve problems. So people are constantly looking for new ideas. People that have good businesses are always looking at competitors to see what they're doing. So an existing business or an existing person is trying to innovate. All right, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to have a business, innovate and make a regular business that's already running, make it better. Keeping in mind, you've always got the public to take care of. If they will buy your new ideas and will buy your problem-solving product, now you have revenue. The key to a business is revenue. So marketing and sales and revenue are going to be your number one priority. Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but I can tell you the marketplace is constantly changing and innovating, okay? So no matter what business it is, it'll change. It'll be different next year than this year. Just keep up with it. But we're swimming upstream at all times if we're in the business world. Now, I don't know where you want to go, but if you have to change, well, the sooner you start, the better it's going to be. So if you're in a little-known business and you've already discovered some changes could be made, try to innovate those and see if those will produce people that want to buy those ideas. Now, the internet has allowed a lot of changes. So a lot of businesses that were very stale and not doing very good can be doing great. For example, I'm in one of those right now. It's growing and there's big dollars to be made because of the internet. All right, now if you have a skill or you have some craft, you have some training, you're already a professional, you've got a head start. But if you haven't a skill and you don't have training, you're not a professional, just start looking what other people are doing. If they learned it, then you can learn. For sure, there's dozens of skills out there that you can learn that you'll be able to help other people solve problems, and then you can make money. In other words, you can do those as a side hustle to start with and then grow it into a business. All right, now there's hundreds and hundreds of businesses that you can learn and you can do on the internet. Now, I don't subscribe to learning how to do a business that's only going to bring you in $250 or $500 a week or whatever it is. I want to get a business where it's going to make significant amount of money. Now, fortunately for me, and I'm going to tell you about it, fortunately, I discovered a business a number of years ago that could bring in big money, like $25,000 and $50,000 at a time. So you could do that if you represented an original equipment manufacturer where they're going to sell big equipment. So if you want to do that, well, that would be it's not a very good side hustle, but you probably have to do it as a full-time job so people had confidence. But there's plenty of ways to make money on the internet. So I'm going to discuss my way of doing it. It's not the only way to do it, but I want to make sure that you learn that you've got all these ideas. They've got to be ideas that are going to produce profits and solve problems for other people. So what did I discover? Well, I discovered on the internet something that had been right under my nose for decades, but I couldn't believe it when I found out. Matter of fact, I was delighted when I found out, and I had just been not even looking and see that the business was there. So what was it? It seemed to me it was a hidden market that had been thousands of other people had already taken advantage of, and I could now take advantage of it. So the business was a subset of the traditional real estate business. So traditional real estate is buying and selling homes, maybe small farms, some small office buildings, maybe some residential lots. That's the traditional real estate bit. Well, this is a subset of that business called tax liens and tax deeds. Now, where does that come from? Well, that comes from people not paying their taxes. So when people don't pay their tax, the local government has a problem. So what the legislature has done, the legislature said, look, if you own a property, you will pay taxes. If you don't pay taxes, the local government, the treasurer, will be authorized by the Board of Supervisors to confiscate, that is, seize your property and resell it at auction. So if you don't pay the taxes, they're going to take the property away from you and they're going to sell it at auction. Now, those are delinquent properties are sold at auction for pennies on the dollar. Now, this is a big surprise to me. I never even knew this was going on. But when I saw these properties were being sold at public auctions for 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents on the dollar, I started paying attention. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about a subset of the real estate business. I'm talking about homes. I'm talking about apartments. I'm talking about small farms. I'm talking about residential lots. These properties are going to be sold for the back taxes. Now, the back taxes might only be 10 or 20 cents on the dollar. Now, who's going to do that? The treasurer of the county is going to confiscate the property and do that. So the treasurer only wants to get the property from the defaulted list over onto the honorable taxpayer list. Why? Because the honorable taxpayer lists are paying taxes every year, and that's what keeps them in money to pay the police, the county employees, to pay the school teachers. Everything that gets paid at the county is going to come from the property tax. So what happens? The county simply auctions the property and offers a discount of 60%, 70%, 80%. So whatever the assessed value might be, it could be sold for 60, 70, or 80% less than that, and anybody can go to this auction. It's open to the public. So if you could buy one of those properties, that would save you a lot of money, and you'd be able to make a lot of money. Now, this process is happening in 3,000 counties across the United States. All right? The properties are always sold at auction to the highest bidder. Plus, the treasurer, once the bidding starts, will cancel at the county records, at the official county records, they'll cancel the mortgage. In other words, they'll delete the mortgage or the deed of trust loan. So now the property's going to get sold 10 or 20 cents on the dollar with no mortgage or no deed of trust. Now, folks, I didn't invent this, but I'm discussing how entrepreneurs can make money. So this is a business that's been around for 200 years. Now, you could start out as a side hustle and do one of those a year and you'd be doing just fine. But what if you did it every single month? What would happen? All right, so the county websites across the United States will have these properties. Every one of the properties is advertised and their value on the county website. The starting bid is usually going to be very close to the back taxes. Okay, what you're going to buy it for is going to be up to you. Now, if you bid it up, you're probably not going to make very much money. Now, I know all of this is a little hard to believe. Well, the treasurers have been doing this for 200 years. I didn't know about it until just recently. Folks, if you can buy for 10 cents or 20 cents on the dollar, starting bid, you tell me, can you sell that property and make money? Well, you know what? Look at it and make sure that you can make money before you buy it. That's what appealed to me. I could look at the property, know whether I could sell it. And if I didn't think I could sell it for a profit, then I didn't have to buy it. So my savvy, well-trained student investors, guess what they do? They buy these slightly used and abused properties. Now, let's face it, some of these properties are junk. Don't buy the junk. Some of the properties just need cleanup and someone could move in. All right, all the county wants is they want the minimum bid. What do you want? You want to buy low so you can sell low and make a profit as quickly as possible. For example, let's say the property was worth $80,000 and you bought it for $20,000. Could you sell it for $50,000? If it was worth $80,000, could you sell it for $50,000? Well, that would still leave you a $3,000 profit. Folks, that works for me. I'm sure it'll work for you. But before I go, if you get involved in this business, before you go to any auction, make sure you have boots on the ground and you've looked at that property. If there was a windstorm or a hurricane, or there was a flood, or it was next to a chicken farm, no telling, or maybe the building had burned. I don't know what would have happened, but you want to check before you ever go to auction and buy that property. Also, you want to know what your selling strategy is going to be. In other words, if you don't have an exit strategy, don't buy the property. I'm Ted Thomas.